Hello and welcome to Jason Talks Geek. I'm Jason and I like to read comic books. I also like to talk about geeky things on a geeky couch with geeky people like Ashley Victoria Robinson. Ashley, thank you for joining me on my geeky couch.
Oh, thanks for having me back on the geeky couch.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all kinds of geeky things, and if you get tired of anything that we're saying or don't agree at generally any time, you can click ahead at any of these banners, things down below, whatever you want to call them. Annotations, I'm going to call them. So let's head on into the first topic. There's a little bit of a rumor out there.
Ooh, rumor mill.
Yes, and that's one thing that we love to talk about on the internet, rumors. So let's talk about the rumor that's out there right now. Very interesting. Mm-hmm. Now, there's been announced that there is going to be a Flash Supergirl crossover again.
Yes.
And it's going to be a 2-part musical episode because Grant Gustin and Melissa Benoist met on a show before they were superheroes, which was called
Glee.
And what's Glee about?
The Glee Club. I didn't watch it. I don't know. They sing.
They sing a lot, right? They're kids in high school that are pretty and they sing. And they're thin. They're very
thin. That's true.
They're too thin for high school. Anyways, so the rumor of that is that Joss Whedon, apparently, one site now confirms and says that Joss Whedon is directing. Many other sites, including Flash Film, say that it is a rumor. So we are going to treat it as a rumor. There's been no official confirmation.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon has not said, I'm doing it. Also, in some of the rumor mills, it has been talked about that the villain is going to be the Music Meister.
I mean, that's a really solid choice in your pantheon of DC villains for who this could be.
Well, he's from the musical episode of Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh, that's a great episode.
So it's a great, voiced by Neil Patrick Harris. And, of course, the rumor mill also suggests that Neil Patrick Harris is going to play the Music Meister.
That would be so cool.
I'd be fine with that. First of all, let's talk about this.
Okay.
What percentage would you give the rumor that Joss Whedon is going to direct Supergirl?
I'd give it about a 10%.
Oh, that very low.
I do. I think this is a very low-level, fan-created rumor as it currently stands.
Interesting.
I think that people really want this to happen because we love Joss from the Avengers.
From the Avengers.
We love him from the Avengers. And to have him break and come over to the DC side, we know he didn't have a great break with Marvel. That seems like a pretty big get. And in addition to the fact that Buffy, of course, has one of the most famous musical episodes of all time for a show that is not based around a musical, Once More with Feeling.
I'm going to throw this out there. I think that Once More with Feeling, as it's called.
That's what I said.
Sorry, excuse me. Was one of the best episodes of Buffy.
Cool.
By far.
And I am going to say a thing that if this is true, the musical thing is true, which it seems to be. This was an official announcement.
The music thing is true.
If you don't take Andy Mientus, who plays Pied Piper, who is a Broadway star, and have him appear in that episode and sing, I'm out.
Really?
Yeah. He started in the Spring Awakening National Tour, and I think he's fabulous.
Well, you know as well that Carlos, who plays Cisco, is also...
Is a pop star.
He's a pop star as well. He is also a musician. Jesse L. Martin, a musician.
Oh,
there's a lot of good singers in this. And also Justin Jordan, I believe is his name, who plays Win.
Jeremy Jordan.
Jeremy Jordan, excuse me, Jeremy Jordan.
There's too many J names.
Apologies, I know you're watching. He also recently at the Hollywood Bowl, I cannot remember whether it was The Sound of Music or something like that, or not The Sound of Music, but they did some live studio orchestra, and he played one of the parts. So he as well has musical pipes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I'm betting that Martian Manhunter does as well.
David Harewood, I would pay money to see that. But I think for me looking at this from the outside, from kind of a cynical perspective, Joss just fits two really convenient categories to make him...
That he's very nerdy popular, and he's done a musical thing before.
Yeah, so he's such an obvious choice in my opinion. I would be more than happy to see him take this role, but until the announcement comes from either THR or Mr. Whedon himself, I don't buy it. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think he would be a really good fit. I think it's a 50-50 shot.
Okay.
I don't think it's as low as you think.
I don't think it's that far-fetched?
Well, because I think that Joss Whedon, he got his start in television.
He did?
And he is Mr. Blockbuster franchise guy now. I think he is pulled back from that. I don't think we're gonna see many more blockbuster movies from Joss Whedon.
I agree. I think he's only gonna do either projects that he is interested in, or like Much Ado, things that he starts himself.
Yes, and I think that universally across the board, people, directors, creators really like Grant Gustin as the Flash and really like Melissa Benoist as Supergirl. And why not? Because they're awesome.
Yes.
I think that might be enough if you made the right pitch to Joss Whedon on the right day, that he might be like, you know what? What the hell? Let's do it.
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, I would love for it to happen. And it just seems very convient to me right now.
Well, true. And that's why I thought we should take this. Yeah, I think it's a 50-50 shot. You think it's not even close. I agree with you. I actually think it's not going to happen, but I'm open to the possibility.
Definitely.
I think it'd be a great thing. Now, this is not unheard of. Movie directors have directed TV shows of that they've been fans of. Most notably, Quentin Tarantino once directed an episode of CSI.
It's a 2-part episode.
Yeah, which I think is actually one of the best episodes of CSI.
I think it is arguably the best episode.
So I thought it'd be funny. There's a lot of superhero shows out there. Legends, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Even I'll give you the Netflix shows.
Sure.
Is there a superhero director out there that you would love to see direct an episode of episodic television superheroes?
Yes.
Okay, who's the director? What's the show and why?
Okay, I have 2.
Okay. You double dose on this?
I got a male and a female director for you.
Look at you. Well done.
So I think a really obvious choice is to have Patty Jenkins do an episode of Supergirl. Because she's taking on Wonder Woman. Right now, Wonder Woman has a lot of really positive buzz. She, of course, did Monster. She's got a lot of accolades behind her.
Yeah.
She could do whatever your most serious, most gravitas episode of Supergirl, I would love to see her take on it. If she could become the woman who touches all of the female characters in the DC universe, I think that could be a really, really interesting, kind of subtle tie with all these characters to tie them together.
Can I get my opinion on Patty Jenkins real quick?
Yeah.
I think that is very unlikely because you want to know why? I think Patty Jenkins is our Justice League 2 director.
Even better. But if I have my druthers and if I have my choices, I would love to see her take on Supergirl.
I think she's just going to go up, up, up.
Great. I hope so.
But, okay, who's your second choice?
I also think that Matthew Vaughn would be a really great Legends of Tomorrow director. Because Legends of Tomorrow does have...
It'd be the most violent episode of Legends ever.
It'd be so great because Legends of Tomorrow does have a lot of those action beats. We often get lengthy fight scenes in there that are quite well executed. That's something that he's very well known for. You'd have to tamper down some of the violence, some of the blood a little bit. But he's also known for movies, especially like Kingsman, that have a lot of really quippy dialogue, which is something that they do in Legends to varying degrees of effectiveness depending on who the actor is.
Yeah.
I think that based on what Legends is and what it can be at its height, I think he would be a great director to take on a story in that television show.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. What do you think?
My choice comes from a very recent movie.
Okay.
And I think because there is a superhero show out there that fits and has a tone very similar to another great franchise. My show that I'm picking is Legends. I went with Legends as well. Legends of Tomorrow had a couple episodes this past season that really, really felt like Star Trek.
Yeah.
And my choice is Justin Lin.
Who does TV. He did True Detective.
He did True Detective.
Yeah.
So I think you could get him. I also think he has a great visual style.
Definitely.
He's a beautiful... Started Beyond... whether you liked it,
gorgeous.
Whether you hated it, I loved it.
I think everybody mostly liked it.
A beautiful, beautiful movie. He also directed True Detective. I also think that he could set a new visual style for Legends because he is very, he moves that camera very well. His cinematography is great.
And I would say that is something that every once in a while Legends will have a really great shot in it or a really great set of shots, but I don't think it has a distinct visual style the way I think Arrow very much has that.
Yes, exactly. And I think, I would argue that The Flash doesn't have a very distinct visual style either.
I will agree.
Legends, sometimes, there are sometimes the way that they do that show, certain scenes, the ship looks very wooden.
Yeah.
And it's made of plywood. I don't fault
know.
him. Beautiful set. But I think Justin Lin is the right director that he could come in there. He could make his Legends episode look like a fantastical movie.
Well, he's very kinetic.
Yes, and I think they would adopt his style.
Nice.
I think give Justin Lin your season 2 finale.
Love it.
And I think he would knock it out of the park, and we would be like, that's the greatest episode of superhero television we've ever seen.
I would love to see that. I think that's a fantastic idea.
And he could also introduce Booster Gold.
Yes.
There you go. All right, so let's move on to our next geek topic. It has been announced this week that the Shazam movie's moving a little bit forward. It's been hinted forever. Of course, The Rock is Black Adam.
Yes.
It's been said that it's going to be a part, finally confirmed, that it is going to be a part of the DC cinematic universe. Because it has been hinted that it was going to be its own thing, and now it's not, now it's not. They finally said it's going to be a part of the DC cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I think that is awesome. I'm very excited about this. But I thought we should talk about in this, what we know of the cinematic universe, the DC cinematic universe so far, how do you think they should introduce Shazam? Not Captain Marvel, Shazam.
Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should introduce Shazam in a similar way that they introduced the Suicide Squad. I think that this is
what movie? I'm sorry to interrupt you. What movie would you introduce Shazam?
Okay.
And then tell us your details.
Oh, okay. I was just like in the Shazam movie,
No.
obviously.
That's fine. So you think the first time we should see him should be in the Shazam?
I think the first time you see Shazam should be in the Shazam movie.
Where do we meet Billy Batson?
I think you meet Billy Batson in Man of Steel 2, where you see Superman dealing with orphans in some way, maybe visiting a kid's home, and he saves Billy Batson, and he just like has stars in his eyes.
My mouth is open because that was my choice as well.
Oh, no! I mean, it's like look, Shazam is a Superman analog in this universe, and if you don't have him show up with Superman, it's a wasted opportunity, is it not?
I don't know if it's a wasted opportunity, but there's just something simpatico about those characters.
Yeah. I mean, if not, fine, since you can have Man of Steel 2, put him in the Justice League, and we can see him with Superman in the Justice League movie. Like, maybe when Superman comes back to life, the first person he saves is Billy Batson.
Well, okay, if you're going to throw him in Justice League, all right? We saw Henry Cavill this week. He also teased a black suit image.
Yes.
Okay, so here you go. If he's in Justice League, here it is. Okay. Superman shows up in the black suit.
Yeah.
He has his mullet hair
Of course.
from Return of Superman. He comes onto the street. He's like, oh, Lois, I can't. You're my world. Ugh, head hurts so bad. And there's a little kid on the street with a red and black.
With the shirt.
Yeah, red and black stripes. And he sees Superman. And he goes, Superman, that is a bad outfit. Now, let me know down in the comments if you get that reference. But if you don't get that reference, it's from Superman #1, where the pimp sees Christopher Reeve for the first time.
Yeah.
He goes, that is a bad outfit. Give that line to Billy Batson. You're welcome.
I love it.
I agree with you. I think it should be Man of Steel 2.
Yeah.
I think it should be Clark Kent reporter coming across Billy Batson.
Great. Even better.
And it's only one scene.
Yeah.
One scene.
Yeah, he's not a mainstay of the movie.
No. He gets like he gives Clark Kent like a piece of information.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then, we see Shazam for the first time in
the Shazam movie.
Yeah, in the Shazam movie.
But I think he needs the reason I brought up Suicide Squad is because Suicide Squad introduces all the members of the squad in a very kinetic, like you have a lot of action and bright colors and music behind them. Like I think Shazam needs that kind of like I am here introduction, you know? Like I don't think he
Give me that again.
I am here. This is what superheroes do.
I find it funny that you think Shazam has some weird like shaky wrist.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he's been working out a lot, so his arms are shaking.
Too many forearm exercises.
That's all the power coursing through him. I mean, obviously.
Oh, I can't wait to see that gift.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Internet. But, I think that he deserves, like, a very heroic, like, a more classically superhero introduction. Like, we saw Superman have a very grounded real-world introduction. Yeah. This is your chance to do something a little more, like, crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Although, I will say, I do think that The Rock Black Adam should be introduced in a mid-credit scene in, I hope, Justice League.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if they're going to have enough time to do that because who knows when they're filming the Shazam movie.
Oh, yeah.
But whatever the DC movie that is before Shazam, I think the end credit scene should be somebody discovers the tomb of Black Adam.
Yeah, or you see him busting out of something.
Yeah.
And same pose.
Because that way you put The Rock in that movie and you make everybody go like, ah!
Yeah, it'd be really great.
All right. So let's tip top to the Mip Mop. Do you know what that reference is from? Google it. Let's go to our next week topic, Runaways.
Yes.
Now,
I love Runaways.
Now, it was announced that the Marvel series Runaways is going to be sitting with the Hulu video series developed by the creators of Gossip Girl. Now, Ashley, who are the Runaways? If anybody out there doesn't know what the Runaways are, who are the Runaways?
Well, go by Volume 1, written by Brian K. Vaughan.
She sent you to a bookstore, people.
There you go. You're welcome. The Runaways are the children of a bunch of supervillains called the Pride. And they decided they're not going to be like their parents. They're going to be good guys. Yep. They're all about 12 to 16. Some of them are mutants. Some of them have magical powers. Some of them are just really smart guys, kind of your classic mishmash of a a superhero team, and they wind up running away from their parents and fighting against them.
Nice.
Led by a really cool guy named Alex with a sweet fro.
Now, are you excited by this news? Because you're a bigger Runaways fan than I am. I've only read the first volume.
I'm very excited about this news. I love The Runaways. The Runaways have been teased as a movie for a really, really long time. But
they work better as a TV show.
Totally, and kind of like I've mentioned here several times, and on Geek History Lesson, like Young Avengers, I think that they do better in a longer narrative form. And while
100%.
I'm personally was not a Gossip Girl like aficionado, I think that having that having showrunners who are used to dealing with stories surrounding younger characters is a great idea, and hopefully Hulu's the place for it.
Now, I know there's a dinosaur member of the team. I can't remember her name.
Old Lace.
Old Lace?
Yeah, because Gert, who has purple hair and glasses, she's very cool. She has a pet dinosaur who she names after Arsenic and Old Lace. Her name is Old Lace.
You think we'll get the dinosaur in the show?
Oh, yeah. And because she's a T-Rex and like
You don't think it'll be too expensive? That's a lot of CGI.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think she'll be in every episode all the time.
Oh, but we'll like see her in the pilot.
Yeah, or you'll see her a lot, like maybe sleeping in the corner or something like that. But I do think Old Lace appears 100%.
Now, Runaways going to Hulu,
Yep.
not Netflix, which is typically the Marvel place to go, or ABC. I wanted to ask you, it kind of seems like Runaways is going to be on its own. It's probably not going to connect.
I agree.
It's probably going to be just like Legion, kind of off in its own.
Sort of in the X-Men universe, but not really.
Yeah, so let's say that there is sort of a Hulu Marvel universe.
Cool.
All right? Let's say Runaways is a runaway hit.
Woo!
And Hulu wants to do another series.
Yeah.
What is the Marvel property, you cannot say Young Avengers, that you think would do well as like a companion show to Runaways?
I think that, and this is something that was rumored to be developed at ABC, but I think is now nixed. I think Damage Control is, of course, a really, really
What
great...
is Damage Control?
Damage Control is basically the team that comes in to clean up all the damage that superheroes cause in the Marvel universe. I think that it is a low-budget way to tell really funny and unique stories within the Marvel universe that you're not used to seeing and you don't need a ton of special effects for. What I would really love to do is take the name of another team, but not use any of the members. Like, so as a companion show to Runaways, because Runaways is the children of villains who decide to be good guys, I would do the children of good guys who decide to be villains, and I would call them Thunderbolts. Because I don't think you're going to get a classic Thunderbolts team, movie, show, whatever.
Yeah, you will. It'll happen.
I respectfully disagree. This
It'll
is the internet. But I think that name and the idea of like they're ambiguously good guys, bad guys could be a really fun companion series to Runaways.
Interesting.
Yeah. What have you got?
My companion series would be two characters that I would introduce into the Runaways. Is two characters that are also teenagers. Two characters that are usually on the run from the law. Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, Cloak and Dagger. That's cool.
Now, Cloak and Dagger, I think, is a perfect spinoff series of Runaways because Cloak and Dagger, of course, are this guy and this girl, and the Cloak who can transport anywhere, and they're sort of in a love-hate relationship. They sort of love each other. They sort of hate each other.
Very teenager.
And they're also on the run.
Yep.
And I think they...
Just like the Runaways.
Exactly. I think they are the perfect companion. They make sense in the same universe, and they could be the Luke Cage. What Luke Cage was to Jessica Jones, it's what Cloak and Dagger could be to Runaways.
Yeah. Very cool.
So there you go. All right, guys, before we move into our next section, let's talk about supporting some cool geek stuff. Now, if you don't know, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Jawiin, and over there is where you can support Geek History Lesson, our podcast, this YouTube channel, Jason Talks Geek, and we give you all this cool stuff like you can watch episodes of Jason Talks More, the companion show, the deeper discussion show, supplemental show to Jason Talks Geek. You get it exclusively for a couple weeks ahead of everybody else on YouTube, as well as you get an exclusive podcast called Geek History Lesson Extra that is you can only listen to on Patreon. So head on over to patreon.com/Jawiin to support everything we do here on the channel and our podcast, Geek History Lesson.
Yay!
And thank you to all the Patreons, by the way, out there. Let's move on into super questions, where we're going to answer your fan questions. Guys, you can always send us new questions on my Twitter, @Jawiin, or hashtag Jason Talks Geek. Not enough people use the hashtag.
Use the hashtag.
Jason Talks Geek. It sits here on the screen the entire episode. Use it. I'll see the questions, guys. And I save questions. Even if you ask a question and I don't use it that week, I save it and I hold it.
Check back in.
So there you go. First question comes from Facebook.
Okay.
Jess Hilario says, "Hi, super friend. What's your take on the..." Oh, excuse. Before I finish this, and I'm gonna remember this when I edit this later.
Okay.
That I'm not gonna show his comment on the screen. because there are some Suicide Squad spoilers in his comment. So if you don't want to know Suicide Squad spoilers, I would say jump ahead about 4 minutes or just click to the next section because we're going to spoil some Suicide Squad
Probably.
stuff. All right, here we go. Back to the question. Jess Hilario, hi, super friend. What's your take on the Suicide Squad end credits? Why the Enchantress file was included along with the Flash and Aquaman when Amanda Waller hands the files to Bruce? Okay, so Amanda Waller gives Bruce Wayne this giant file. It has basically every member, because we see Deadshot and Harley in that as well.
No.
I'm pretty certain you see Deadshot and Harley.
She has a folder that she gives to the 2 government agents that has Deadshot and Harley and Enchantress in it, and then she gives a different binder. It has 2 different things. I checked this out the second time I watched it.
Oh.
2 different things written on the front of it to Bruce that has Enchantress, Flash, and Wonder Woman in it.
And you see, no, you see Aquaman.
Oh, Aquaman, I'm so sorry,
You don't see
Aquaman.
Wonder Woman. And it has a whole bunch of other papers you don't see.
Yes, and I checked this because I was wondering why I was wondering the same thing. Why was Enchantress in there? If you look at the front of the binder that she gives to Bruce, it's about metahumans. They are specifically talking about metahumans. Enchantress, for the purposes of the movie, is a metahuman. So is Flash. So is Aquaman. As opposed to the first binder, which was the Task Force X team. That's why I think Enchantress is included there. I don't think Enchantress is going to be on the Justice League.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it means anything. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think it's literally like, these were the people that we thought were problems. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Pretty simple. All right. Next question. You're safe from Suicide Squad spoilers from here on out. Jerry Jolly asks,
Nice name.
I've always enjoyed Geek History Lesson. Thank you. Now I'm enjoying Jason Talks Geek. Double thank you. What was the best DC animated TV show? Parentheses, Young Justice, in my opinion. Why was it canceled, and what do you do to bring the DC Universe back to TV? Sorry, but Teen Titans Go doesn't qualify as DC Universe. Jerry Jolly, thank you for your question. I disagree 100%. Teen Titans Go is just as valid a part of the DC TV universe as anything. Also, the DC Universe doesn't exist on TV.
It doesn't.
Because Young Justice is not in the same continuity as the Bruce Timm series, which is not...
Or Legion of Superheroes.
Or Legion of Superheroes, or Batman Brave and the Bold, or The Batman, or The Batman Strikes.
There.
There is no DC Universe.
There really only was for like a minute in the late 90s, early 2000s when the Timverse was around.
So let's just take his first question.
Sure.
Here. What was the best DC animated TV show? What do you think?
The best DC animated TV show, objectively, if you're talking about quality, overall storytelling, all of that, is Batman the Animated Series.
What do you think of this, though?
I think it's Batman the Animated Series. Although I think that Justice League does deserve a lot of credit because Justice League is the culmination of Batman and Superman and Batman Beyond. You get to see a lot more of the universe and more of it celebrated. And then, of course, for me, Batman aside, I love the original Teen Titans series because you get to see the classic new Teen Titans stories told for a new generation of people.
Mine is easily Justice League.
Yeah.
And I tried to argue this on TV Fights once and I lost.
Boo.
I think it's Justice League because Justice League, I think, takes everything that makes Batman the Animated Series great and perfects it.
Yeah.
I also think that Justice League takes characters like Wanna Beast and Cersei and makes them work.
Yeah.
But if I were to give like a personal favorite, I kind of think it's Green Lantern the Animated Series.
Green Lantern the Animated Series, I think, is like criminally underrated as a show. It's fantastic.
And it's a Bruce Timm show, which many people don't know.
It is.
It's really great. And the end of the second season is the Green Lantern Corps fighting the Anti-Monitor.
That's right.
That is flippin' awesome.
And if you're not a Green Lantern person and you've always struggled to understand the complexities of it or what the spectrum of lanterns is, this is a great condensed telling of why this Lantern Corps exists in the world and what each of their power sets are.
Yeah.
It's very accessible.
So there you go. All right, and the final question goes to Ryan McKenna at McKenna19, who asked, why don't comic publishers provide definite character chronologies? Ashley, I have a very definite reason. What do you think?
Well, if you listen to our podcast, Geek History Lesson, you will, plug, you will find that character chronologies are really difficult, especially if the character's more than about 5 years old. There's tons of reboots, there's tons of costume changes, there's stuff that happens for arbitrary reasons, there's a lot of dumb stuff. A character chronology is what you make of it, and I think that publishers don't necessarily want to not even own up, but like whatever doesn't affect the story that's being told right now, today, the day the writer is writing it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter outside of you, the reader, building your own headcanon. That's why I think it is way too much work now, and you're not going to pay someone to do it. And because in the long run, it doesn't matter. You can Google the reading order. You can Google the publication order. Anything else it's really up to you. What do you think?
I before I get to what I think, I do agree with you, and I've said this several times, said this on several panels. Continuity is what you make it.
Exactly.
You create your own continuity. It doesn't matter. What you make to make your stories and make it enjoyable for you is what matters. Who cares? There is no definite. It's about the same thing as like everybody arguing like, is this movie awesome or does this movie suck? It doesn't matter. What do you think about it? Do you like it? Cool. Do you hate it? Cool. It doesn't matter. I think there is no definite character chronologies by companies because superhero stories never end.
They don't. They're ongoing.
They're always ongoing and they're monthly. And here's the thing. Here's another question. Let me ask you this.
Sure.
How many writers currently at DC are writing Batman?
Tom King on Batman.
Just give me a number. I don't need names.
About
5 or 6.
5 or 6. Yeah.
About 5 or 6,
yeah.
Right? Do you know how impossible it is to make 5 or 6 writers every single month write a character consistently?
Well, not even that. To have them all talk to each other or to talk to an editor.
And to keep the continuity straight?
Yeah.
You know, there are one of the best examples of continuity out there from any form is actually, I think, is Star Trek. But even Star Trek itself has some blunders, has some things that are mistakes. And that was one source. Each time they were just like, we have this one television show. We have this one television show.
Yeah.
We have this one television show.
How many middle names does James Kirk have?
He has 2.
That's right.
He has 2. But there were like different things about like when they first met the Klingons. It changed like 4 times.
Yeah.
Until Enterprise was like, no, this is it.
Yeah.
So take that. That was just 5 television shows that were one source and multiply that by 10. And 10 that changes every year. That's
not
impossible.
Even that. Multiplied by the number of titles that's coming out. So 25?
Well, I was talking about like 10 every year because it's like a different writer,
Sure.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible because you would have to update that chronology every single week.
It would have to be one person's job. And frankly, DC, Marvel, Image, whoever can hire one person to do something more important.
And my advice would be to any of you out there that are concerned about this is to not be concerned about this. Again, make your continuity your own and make the books and the characters that you like work in a continuity for you.
Yeah.
Like for me, Dick Grayson was Robin for 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't care what you tell me. You can tell me anything else. You can say that it's only been a 5-year timeline. He was Robin for 10 years.
I feel the same way about Tim Drake. In the current continuity, Tim Drake has never been Robin. In my mind, he been Robin for about 5 years.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and Batman's in his 40s, and that's the way, that's what I like. Yeah. So that's good enough.
Also, in my continuity, Captain America's been awake for like 15 years now.
Yeah.
They thawed him out of the ice 15 years ago. Also, in my head, Frank Castle's a Vietnam vet.
Yeah, because that's what works best for you.
I like that. I don't care. You're never going to update it. He's a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
That's what he is. And I kind of sometimes throw Tony as being a Vietnam vet too, because when he actually first got the Iron Man armor in the Korean War.
Yes, he did.
So for me, I always see a jungle. I don't see a desert.
Yes.
So Tony got his armor during the Vietnam. So like for me, Tony's been Iron Man for a long time.
Yeah, man.
And that's fine. Who cares? It's my continuity, and it's what I want to make it, and that's how I enjoy my stories, and that's what matters. You know, you don't need anybody to tell you what works and what doesn't work. Make it work for yourself.
And then ask your friends about it, but don't push them when they disagree with you.
Exactly. Well done. I actually thought that last question was a great question.
It was an excellent question.
All right, so let's move into the last section of Jason Talks Geek, the quick review where we're going to talk about one thing that we read, watched, or listened to, or painted that really inspired us and we want you guys to really know about. Ashley, what's something very short and very quickly, something that you really impressed you this week that you want them to know about?
So I got to read a advanced digital copy of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Volume 1. This is title. It's amazing. It is the relaunch of Sabrina the Teenage Witch as a hard Lovecraft-esque horror story? Hulu story.
Is Hulu going to adapt Sabrina now?
I would watch the F out of that.
Sabrina's on Amazon Prime, actually.
Not the good one. So I would highly recommend picking this up, especially if you like either the Archie reboot or what's the zombie book called? Afterlife with Archie. It is that same.
Which is also an Archie reboot.
Yeah, but I mean the Mark Waid, Fiona Staples Archie reboot. It is a hard look at these characters in their core and what is scary about them, and it's incredibly enjoyable. It looks absolutely beautiful, and it reads quite quickly. So
cool.
Pick it up and scare yourself a little bit.
My choice is this week I got to read Batman #5, the new DC Rebirth Batman, written by Tom King, drawn by David Finch. Introduces this whole idea about there's these two superheroes in Gotham called Gotham and Gotham Girl. And I don't want to twist it, but or I don't want to reveal it, but Tom King put this really cool twist at the end of the book for Gotham Girl. Plus, the Justice League shows up, which is cool. I'm happy. The Justice League showing up in a Batman book is something that doesn't happen very often.
That's true. It's
true.
So
Justice League showed up, and I was like, this is cool. But Tom King, that crafty writer guy.
That crafty man.
He put a nice little twist in the end of this issue, and it makes me really excited for what's to come. And you know, you should never doubt the plans of Tom King.
Well said.
Because he's a thinker, that guy, and he's thought about it more than you, and you're gonna enjoy it the way he thinks about it.
Nice.
So well done on Batman #5. That's why you should read it. So there you go.
Very well said.
Was that well said? I don't know.
I thought
sorry,
it was excellent.
I'm sorry, Tom.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. So guys, that's it for Jason Talks Geek. Thanks for watching Jason Talks Geek. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get funner. Don't forget to click subscribe so you can get all the episodes. And I want you guys to check out. We're doing this series on the YouTube channel now called Stories You Should Read. This week was 14 Titan stories you should read. We did Suicide Squad. We did Harley Quinn. We're gonna try to keep that going weekly as much as my schedule will allow. So click subscribe. You can check out those videos as well. Ashley, where can they find you around the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ashley B. Robinson. You can find me on Facebook.com/AshVictoriaRobinson. And just about every week hosting Geek History Lesson along with the fabulous Jason Inman.
On iTunes and this YouTube channel. And guys, don't forget to check out Jason Talks More, which you can also check out on early on Patreon.com/Jawiin. I'm Jason Inman. I'll be seeing you next Geeky Week.